Okay, let's start the discussion of the paper. In the first page, the questions that you wrote wrong answers are the last question only, right? Um, yes. Through which substance the sound travels fast? The sound travels fast actually through the solids in the fastest way, right? In our normal day-to-day life, we are talking and we are propagating our sound through AI, yeah, because we are not having any other option, right? But I was telling you a nice example that when we are existing on a platform in a railway station, when we are seeing the train is coming so far away, we can see the train as a tiny object. Train is so far away, but we can hear the sound of the horn only. We can't hear that dakas typical sound of the train yet because it is so far away. Not it's not closer yet. But if we uh, jump into the ground and uh, get our ear in contact, in touched with the rail, with the steel rail, right? We can hear the sound of that far away coming train, right? The train still the train is so far away, but we can still hear the sound through steel, through that solid, but through the air we can't hear. So sound is betterly propagating through solids, then liquid, weakly propagating in air, right? So the best propagation of sound is done in solids like steel, then a moderate propagation is being done in liquids, and the weakest one is air. We are talking through air because we are not having any other option, right? Then in the next page, what are the questions you write wrong answers? The eighth question, right? These two statements. When the smoke emits downwards due to the combustion of gunpowder, skycracker moves upward. There's a Newton's law called as Newton's third law. Actually, there are three Newton laws, right? This is the third law. Every action is having a equal and opposite reaction. It is something like the karma that is explained in Buddhism, right? In science also, every action has a equal and opposite reaction, right? Here, inside of the skycracker, there's a chemical reaction happening when the burning of gunpowder, වෙඩි බෙහෙත් අපි කියන්නේ, right? Burning of gunpowder is happening due to that chemical reaction. Smoke, dumak, right? Smoke is emitted, දුමක් පිට වෙනවා, right? Due to the pressure of that emitted gas, ඒ පිට වෙන වායුවේ පිට වෙන gas එකේ pressure එක හින්දා skycracker එක upward move වෙනවා. Skycracker is moving upward. So the smoke is emitting downward, skycracker is moving upward. Yes, right? There's a correlation, right? It's correct. Then the reason, the chemical energy of gunpowder is helpful for that. You can remember I was telling a word. There's a chemical reaction happening inside of the skycracker when it is burning. Burning is a chemical reaction, right? Burning is a chemical reaction. Burning always need oxygen, right? When we burn something, that thing is reacting with oxygen always, right? Remember that burning is a chemical reaction. So the chemical energy of gunpowder is helpful for that. Both statements are correct. Huh? Both statements are correct. Then the 10th question and 11th question. In 10th question, Use of a battery to start a car, lightening the bulb of a food cycle, activating a calculator using a solar cell. The correct order of the type of current producers in above A and A, B, and C is, right? You know, in a food cycle, when we are getting the current, we use a dynamo. In a dynamo, there's a rotation, right? When rotating to two directions, that object can be rotated clockwise or anti-clockwise. When it is rotating in two different directions, the direction of the produced electric current is also different. It is alternating, right? It is changing. So the dynamo is having alternate current, but any other process here, A or C, is not having any rotation, right? මොකුත් එහෙම කැරකෙවෙන්නේ නැහැ, right? So alternate current is not there in A and C. Direct current, alternate current, direct current. That is the order, right? 4 is the answer. Okay. Then the 11th question. Here you can see below the first diagram, they are saying that two rods are getting repelled, right? You know, it's something like the poles of a magnet, right? In a in poles of a magnet, the similar magnetic poles like north and north are not getting attracted, they are being repelled. South and south are being repelled. Likewise, equal charges are not getting attracted, equal charges are being repelled. So if this is being repelled, the other rod should be having also positive charges. So in the first diagram, rod P should be having positive charges. Then in the second diagram, they are saying that the two rods are getting attracted. So here the rod should be having negative charges because the charge types should be two different types for getting attracted. No? Ah. First one is having positive charges, in the second one it is having negative charges. The first one is the correct answer. Then let's go to the next page. Okay. Here, what are the wrong questions that you've written answers for? All are correct in that page, right? In the last page, you can see a mirror and an image produced by that mirror of a candle, right? The way of seeing an image of the candle through the mirror is given below. Select the correct answer. Okay. As you can see, the image is little bit small in the mirror, the curved mirror, right? In the curved mirror, the image is little bit small than the actual object, right? Then the other features, the image is upright, not inverted. උඩයට මාරු වෙලා නැහැ. It's upright. උඩ පැත්තටම තියෙනවා. Okay. So when considering these things, concave mirror always produce a enlarged image. Real object එකට වඩා ලොකු enlarged image when the object is so closer to the concave mirror. Right? The concave mirror is the thing that is spoon like thing which is used by dentists, right? That's why they are using that, because when we enter it into the buccal cavity or the mouth cavity, it is so near to the teeth, right? So it will show enlarged teeth, right? Enlarged cavities if you are having cavities. So it will be so easy to fill them, right? For a concave mirror, if the real object is so closer to the mirror, image is being enlarged, right? But here the image is little bit small than the actual object, right? And then you can check with the textbook when we are moving far away the object from the concave mirror, right? The spoon like thing, ඇතුළට එබිච් එක, right? The image more tends to being inverted. උඩයට මාරු වෙන්න බලනවා ඈතට ලං යනකොට, right? But this kind of a image upright උඩ අතට කෙලින්ම තියෙන right upright small image එකක් අපිට ඒකෙන් හදාගන්න අමාරුයි. So this should be a convex mirror. හැන්ද වගේ ඇතුළට එබිච් එකක් නෙමෙයි ස්පූන් ලයික් මිරර් එකක් නෙමෙයි මේක කොන්වෙක්ස් මිරර් එකක් වෙනවා. අපේ පැත්තට හොඳට ඉලිප්පිලා ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන මේ පිම්විච්ච මිරර් එකක් කොන්වෙක්ස් මිරර් එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ මේක, right? It should be a convex mirror and this image should be virtual because we are seeing the image inside of the mirror, right? මිරර් එක ඇතුලෙන් අපිට පේන්නේ. So we can't get it into a screen. අපිට එක තිරයකට ගන්න බෑ. Right? It is not in our real face, real world, right? This actual candle is in the real world, no, but the image is not in that side, right? So the image is not real, it's virtual. So the second answer is the correct answer. Convex mirror is used, the image is virtual, right? Okay, then let's go to the second part. First question. You named X and Y parts in plant A correctly, leaves and stem. Then draw a leaf of plant A and draw its leaf venation. Plant A is a dicotyledonous tree. No, it is having branches in its stem. You can see, right? අපි තාල වර්ගයේ ශාක කියලා ගන්න මේ ඔය පොඩි කාලේ පොල් තල් කිතුල් පුවක් වගේ ඒවා and shrubs and bushes මේ ඔය තරණකොළ වගේ පඳුරු වගේ ඒවා grass වගේ ඒවා, right? They are monocotyledonous plants. Only one leaflet is coming out from the seed when it is germinating, right? Monocotyledonous plants, right? In those monocotyledonous plants, branches are not coming out of the stem. But here in plant A, branches are there in every side of the stem, so it is a dicotyledonous plant, right? In dicotyledonous plants, there are taproots, right? For each and every plant, there's a taproot, right? And the leaf venation should be reticulate, not parallel, right? Parallel venation is always in coconut-like trees. You can see in coconut leaves, the midrib, which we call as iratta in Sinhala, it is existing as parallel lines, right? So it is parallel venation. Here in plant A, we can't see that. In plant A, there's reticulate venation. Write letters that indicate ඒක හරියට net එකක් වගේ මම මේ ඔයාලට අඳින්න දීලා ඇති notebook එකේ බලන්න what is reticulate venation. Write letters that indicate the parts of androsium in the given flower, right? In the given flower, the P and S letters symbolize the stigma and style, right? Stigma and style. That middle part, stigma, style, and over, which is containing ovules, that is the female part. Gehanu kotasa malaka, right? That is the gynosium, right? That is the gynosium. අර වටේට තියෙන අපි රේනෝ කියලා කියන්නේ, which is called as stamen, is the androsium. පිරිමි කොටස, male part, right? Androsium is always consisting two parts, the anther and filament, right? Anther and filament, those are symbolized in the letters Q and R, right? Q and R, Q and R. So here they are asking, write letters that indicate the parts of androsium in the given flower Q and R. Fourth Roman number part A, to which plant indicates as A and B, the flower C belongs. Flower C belongs. Always in monocotyledonous plants or the plants which are not having branches in their stem are having flowers which contains number of petals equals to 3 or 3's multiples, right? පොල් කිතුල් තල්පුවක් වගේ monocotyledonous plants වල හැමතිස්සෙම තියෙන්නේ 3 or 3 multiples of petals තියෙන flowers, right? පොල් මලක් අරගෙන අර චූටි මල් වෙන් කරලා ඔයා බැලුවොත් එහෙම දිගෑරලා only 3 petals are there, right? 3 or 3's multiples, 3, 6, 9, like numbers can be only existed in a monocotyledonous plant flower. But here in sea flower, there's 5 petals and it shows that it's a dicotyledonous plant flower. So it should be belonging to plant A. Mention the reason for the given answer. You can write monocotyledonous plants are always having flowers with petal count 3 or 3's multiples. But C flower is having 5 petals, so it belongs to A, right? Mm, Draw the diagram of the root system of plant B. Plant B is a monocotyledonous plant. There's no branches coming out of the stem. So there should not be a taproot. There should not be a taproot. Without a taproot, you have drawn a root system. So it is correct, right? Then a student mentioned that there are no acidic and basic properties of water in which the fish lives. According to that, how do you name that water? Right? It can be written as salt. Yes, I agree. The substances in between acidic pH and basic pH in exact pH 7 we call as salts, right? And also there's another name that we can use for everything, because when we call salts, it gives some kind of another meaning, like the table salt we are using in the kitchen, right? So the best word is neutral, right? Neutral. We are calling them neutral salts because they are not acting as acidic or basic, not belonging to both of those types. Actually, the vehicle gear called as neutral gear is also having that name due to that reason. That gear is essential. We have to have that, but it is not needed when we are driving the car, right? So this is something like that. Not active most of the times, not acting as a acid, not acting as a base, but we need those substances as well. Those are neutral salts, right? Neutral is the answer. And the capital B part, name a vertebrate animal. The answer you wrote is correct. Fish. Yes, fish. And the amphibians ගොඩ දිය දෙකේම ඉන්න කට්ටිය, amphibians, reptiles, aves, කුරුල්ලෝ, and mammalians are the vertebrate animals, right? Then the second question, which property of water is helpful for the fish to live in water? Yes, the answer you wrote is correct, but uh, giving the ability to living organisms to live inside of water is called as water acting as a medium of life in your textbook, right? Water as a medium of life. Water as a medium of life. That is the answer that they are expecting. It is better if you can write in that way in the examination, right? The third Roman number, name the characteristic of organism which is helpful in following instances. Difficult to identify Paracolea on guava plant at once, because the guava plant leaf and the Paracolea is having the same body shape and same body color. It is called as camouflaging, right? Camouflaging. B. Fish swims easily in water by avoiding the resistance. They are avoiding the resistance because of their specific body shape. They are having the streamlined body shape, right? Fourth question, for which the adaptations of animals to the environment is helpful to them? First adaptation, the Paracolea is having camouflaging, right? The camouflaging is helping to innocent animals like Paracolea to be protected from the predators, right? Be protected from the predators. For the predators, it is helpful to hide and go and catch the prey easily, right? Like leopard, it is having the sandy color in their fur, and when it is going through the dried grasslands, right, which is consisting more dust, it can go through that dust and dried grass and easily catch the prey. Then The streamlined body shape, which is having by fish and birds, is supporting them to travel through air and water by avoiding the resistance easily, right? The fifth Roman number, you completed the dichotomous key correctly, so I am not going to discuss that. And then the next question that you answered is the third question. Right, the type of energy in human for lifting the weight, it is chemical energy actually. I was telling you, the simple food particles are being absorbed into blood in the small intestine in our digestive system, and in our respiratory system the oxygen is also absorbed to the blood, right, by blood, through blood. Oxygen and simple food both are being transported into cells. Inside of cells, I was telling you, there's a small thing called as organelle, right? Which name is mitochondria, right? It is not in your textbook. In mitochondria, the reverse process of photosynthesis is happening, and mitochondria collects that oxygen and simple food, combine them together and do a reaction to produce energy. Uh, in mitochondria, inside of cells, with the support of oxygen that we got from inhalation, and with the support of simple food that we got from the digestion, by combining simple food and oxygen, the energy is produced, right? That produced energy is being stored in a chemical compound which is existing in our human body called as adenosine triphosphate, ATP, right? In that chemical compound, that energy is being stored. When we need the energy, when we are running, when we are jumping, that chemical compound is releasing that energy, right? So when we are lifting a weight, the chemical energy is being useful. The second Roman number, right? The energy transformation occurs in weightlifting. When we are lifting this bar, it is first moving the energy that is having by a object in moving in motion is called as kinetic energy. Then after you lift it up to a certain elevation, to a certain height, it has changed its position, so it is having potential energy. Potential energy is the energy gained by an object when it changes its position or change or shape, right, or shape. That potential energy gained by the weightlifting bar was gained through a positional change. No, position was changed. But in this third Roman number case, in the second figure, because of the arrow placed somewhere in between the rubber strip and the bow, right? There's a tension acting on the rubber strip, right? ඇදිලා තියෙන්නේ හොඳට, right? So there's an energy that is stored in the bow. There's an energy that is stored in the bow. It is not the actual normal shape of the bow. Now it's stretched, ඇදිලා තියෙන්නේ, right? The shape was changed, so potential energy is stored there. Potential energy is stored there. For the first part, simple A, energy is stored in the bow. The second one is the answer, Roman number 2. B part, energy is not stored in the arrow, right? In the third Roman number diagram, the arrow is being released from the bow. So the potential energy that was stored is releasing now as kinetic energy. So that energy is not being stored in anything anymore, right? Then fourth Roman number, two types of energy are received to the earth by sun. One type is heat energy and the other type is definitely light energy. And the B part, name a laboratory instrument which can be activated by the energy type you mentioned in the light energy again by sun, the solar panel used object. Yes, the scientific calculator can be right. Then the capital B part, this is something you've written wrong answers. The internal structure of the earth should be made using clay. For that, more amount of yellow color, less amount of green color, moderate amount of red color clay are supplied. All amount of clay should be used for to preparing the structure. According to that, complete the following table. Yeah, you know the layers of the earth: core, crust, and mantle, right? But when we are selecting the colors, there's another detail that they are giving the amount of that color you are having, right? You are having a so less amount of green color. So you have to use the green color for the less thick layer. What is having the lesser thickness? What is having the lesser thickness? uh, Crust is only thick up to 35 kilometers. Mantle is thick up to approximately 2,900 kilometers. And the core is thick up to 3,500 kilometers approximately. So the highest thickness is having by the core and the lowest thickness is having by the crust. So the least amount of color you are having in green color, so that should be allocated for the crust. Crust should be green color. Then the higher amount of clay are available in um, yellow color. So yellow color should be used for core. It is 3,500 kilometers thick actually. Then the moderate amount should be used for mantle, which is 2,900 kilometers thick. Then the fifth question, name the accessory which generate electricity. Okay. A substance that is producing sound is called as a source of sound, right? A substance that is generating light, emitting light, is called as a light source, a source of light. So a substance that is generating electricity, that is producing electricity, is called as electricity source or source of electricity. That should be the answer for simple A blank. Simple B blank should be a chemical process or a chemical reaction. Yes, your answer is correct because electric cells and batteries are always having chemical substances inside of them. Then for the C blank, the above arrow shows by movement and rotation. Yeah, by movement and rotation, the energy is produced in dynamo and turbine, right? That is actually due to moving a magnet in front of a metal coil or moving a metal coil in front of a magnet. Either way, right? By either way, you can generate electricity. That thing was found by Michael Faraday, and that theorem was called as electromagnetic induction. And the D blank shows an above arrow, which is saying by solar energy. By solar energy, solar panels and solar cells are producing electric current. D should be filled with that words. Second Roman number, to generate electricity using the method mentioned in B, an apparatus with a lime fruit can be used. Draw a diagram. You drawn the correct diagram. Then in here, showing this apparatus, they are asking in the first Roman number, which name is used for the principle used to generate electricity as mentioned above. In the above case, I was remembering that moving a magnet in front of a metal coil or moving a metal coil in front of a magnet either can be used to generate an electricity. That thing is called as electromagnetic induction. It was found by Michael Faraday. So the principle used to generate electricity here is electromagnetic induction. Second Roman number. What is the observation seen in wind vane fixed to the motor when the magnet is rotated? When the magnet is being rotated, yeah, there's a movement happening in the magnet in front of that metal coil. So an electricity is being produced, the wind vane will rotate. you've written something like in the same speed. We can't mention something like that specifically, right? In the same speed. Don't try to elongate your answer using that kind of additions, right? If you are trying to add icing to your answer, sometimes maybe the correct answer will change into an incorrect one, right? So if you know that answer is correct, the win win will rotate. Write it just as it is, right? Which observation can be seen when LED is fixed to X and Y terminal instead of the motor? Because this is producing a alternate current, we can see an on off of the light. You've written the correct answer. If you want to get an electricity flow to the same direction, which accessory should be connected to the terminals of motor instead of dynamo, right? uh, if you want electricity flow into the same direction instead of dynamo එක වෙනුවට you have to use any kind of a cell, right? මොකක් හරි simple cell එකක් හරි normal අපි use කරන dry cell එකක් හරි, right? All of those are producing electricity using chemical reactions, no chemical processes, so they are generating direct currents. Fifth Roman number mention a change that should be done to the simple dynamo to increase the amount of current, right? Uh, you can increase the windings, right? You can increase the windings of coil around that iron rod, right? Around that iron rod, the the metal coil is winded දඟර විදියට ඔතලා තියෙන්නේ, right? That windings, number of windings should be increased, right? It's the main and expected answer. Yeah, your answer is also correct. The bar magnet can be rotated in a higher speed, but the most common answer that they are expecting is the increasing the number of windings of the metal coil, right? Then the sixth question, a student hold the comb rubbed against dry hair close to the pieces of paper, pieces of paper. What will be his observation? Yes, your answer is right. The little pieces of paper will be attracted into the rubbed comb. Then the second question, what are generated on insulated materials when rubbing? It's static electric charges. Static word should be there because we are generating it through rubbing, right? Static electric charges, static electric charges. The third Roman number, who is the scientist who observed for the first time that light objects are attracted when some objects are rubbed? It's William Gilbert. You are correct. Name a natural phenomenon occurs related to electricity when insulated substances are getting rubbed. Natural phenomenon. ස්වභාවික එකක්, which is relevant to static electric charges when the objects are being rubbed, right? එහෙම clouds rub වෙලා වලහකුළු rub වෙලා හැදෙනවා ස්වභාවිකව naturally. Thundering is the answer that they are expecting, right? And capital B part, you can see the two diagrams. What action is done to capacitor in diagram A? In here, in diagram A, the capacitor is being filled with the charges, right? The charges are being stored in the capacitor. In the second one, as in diagram B, what action happens to the capacitor after lightning LED? After lightning LED, for the lightning purpose process, the charges stored in the capacitor are being vanished, being spent. So the capacitor is being discharging, right? Discharging. That single word is enough, right? No need to write lengthy answers. Discharging, right? Discharging. Which terminal of the capacitor is connected to the P terminal of the simple cell? You can see